Part 1. The Quiet Struggle. The morning light crept through the worn curtains of a small cottage in Manchester, casting shadows on Emma Williams's tired face. At 23, she carried the weight of her entire family on her shoulders. Her grandmother, Margaret, sat in the corner, wrapped in a worn wool blanket, her hands trembling as she tried to knit a scarf. Jack, Emma's 16-year-old brother, shuffled into the kitchen. The linoleum floor creaked under his worn-out sneakers. He looked at his sister, knowing how much she sacrificed every single day. Emma had been working 2 jobs, cleaning rooms at the Riverside Hotel and waiting tables at the local pub, just to keep their family afloat. Their life wasn't easy. Money was always tight, the heating rarely worked, and sometimes dinner was nothing more than a pot of thin vegetable soup and stale bread. Emma would wake up at 4 in the morning, make sure Jack had something to eat before school, check on her grandmother, and then rush to her first job. The hotel was a massive building that stood in stark contrast to their small cottage, clean, modern, with polished floors and pristine white walls. Emma would spend hours cleaning rooms, making beds, ensuring every surface sparkled. Her hands were rough from cleaning chemicals, her back aching from the constant work. At the pub, she would work evening shifts, balancing trays of drinks, listening to the loud chatter of locals and trying to save every spare penny. The pub owner, Mr. Thompson, knew how hard she worked. Sometimes he would slip her an extra sandwich or leave a bit of leftover food for her to take home. Margaret's medical bills were a constant worry. She had been diagnosed with a condition that required expensive medication. Emma would spend hours calculating how to stretch their limited money, cutting corners wherever possible. Jack had stopped asking for new clothes or school supplies, understanding the family's financial strain. One particularly cold morning, Emma found an electricity bill that made her heart sink. The amount was more than they could possibly pay. She sat at the kitchen table, her head in her hands, wondering how they would survive. Jack watched her silently, wanting to help, but feeling completely helpless. The cottage felt like both a sanctuary and a prison. Photographs of happier times lined the walls, pictures of their parents before the accident that had left them orphaned. Emma remembered the promise she made to her parents, to take care of her brother and grandmother no matter what. At the hotel, Emma worked harder than anyone else. She was always the first to arrive and the last to leave. Her colleagues noticed her dedication. Some admired her, while others felt intimidated by her relentless work ethic. Emma didn't care what they thought. Her family was all that mattered. During her lunch breaks, she would sit in the staff room, quickly eating a simple sandwich and reviewing medical bills. Her phone calculator was her constant companion, trying to find ways to save money. Every penny counted. Every decision was a careful calculation of survival. Jack was doing his best to help. He would do odd jobs after school, helping neighbors with gardening, washing cars, anything to bring in a few extra pounds. Emma was proud of him but also worried. She wanted him to focus on his studies, to have a chance at a better future. So, evening approached. Emma prepared for her pub shift. She changed into her black work shirt, tied her hair back, and kissed her grandmother goodbye. Margaret would squeeze her hand, her eyes filled with love and a hint of sadness, knowing the burden her granddaughter carried. The pub was always busy. Emma moved between tables, her smile practiced and professional. No one could tell the struggles she faced at home. She was a master of hiding her exhaustion, her worry, her constant fear of not being able to provide for her family. That night, as she walked home under the streetlights, Emma allowed herself a moment of vulnerability. A single tear rolled down her cheek, but she quickly wiped it away. There was no time for weakness. Her family was counting on her. Little did Emma know that tomorrow would bring an unexpected opportunity that would change everything. Sometimes, hope arrives when you least expect it. Part 2. Unexpected Opportunity. The hotel manager's office was typically a place Emma avoided. It meant trouble or more work, usually. But on this particular Wednesday morning, something felt different. Robert Thompson, a tall man in his 50s with salt and pepper hair, had been watching Emma for months. Emma was cleaning the executive floor when Mr. Thompson approached her. Her hands were deep in a bucket of cleaning solution, her blue uniform slightly wrinkled from hours of work. She looked up, expecting another complaint or additional task. "Can we talk for a moment?" Mr. Thompson's voice was surprisingly gentle. She dried her hands nervously, wondering what she might have done wrong. The hallway was quiet, with sunlight streaming through the large windows overlooking Manchester's busy streets. Mr. Thompson invited her into his office. The room was neat, with certificates and photographs covering the walls. Emma had never been this close to management before. Her heart raced, thinking about her grandmother's medical bills and Jack's upcoming school expenses. "I've been watching you, Emma," he began. "You're different from other cleaning staff. Your work is exceptional and your commitment is remarkable." Emma remained silent, unsure how to respond. She had always believed in working hard, but she never expected anyone to notice. Mr. Thompson continued, "We have a management training program. It's competitive, and usually, we recruit from universities. But I believe talent isn't just about education. It's about dedication." He slid a folder across the desk. Inside was an application for a management development scholarship. The monthly stipend would be more than double what Emma currently earned. Her hands trembled as she looked at the document. "This could change everything," Mr. Thompson explained. "It's a 2-year program, part-time study, part-time work. We'll support your education and provide a career path." Emma's mind raced. More money meant better medical care for her grandmother. It meant Jack could focus on his studies without worrying about work. It meant hope. That evening, she discussed the opportunity with her family. Margaret, despite her illness, was the first to encourage her. "You've always been special, my dear," she said, squeezing Emma's hand. Jack was excited. "This could be our chance," he said, his young face bright with possibility. He had always admired his sister's strength, but wanted her to have opportunities he knew she deserved. The application process was challenging. Emma had to write essays, attend interviews, and compete against candidates with university backgrounds. But her life experience spoke volumes. Her ability to manage a struggling household, work multiple jobs, and maintain a positive attitude set her apart. Weeks passed. Every day felt like an eternity of waiting. Emma continued her cleaning and pub shifts, trying not to get her hopes up. Hope could be dangerous when you were used to disappointment. Then, on a rainy Thursday afternoon, the envelope arrived. Emma's hands shook as she opened it. Accepted. She was accepted into the management training program. Her scream of joy echoed through their small cottage. Margaret cried. Jack jumped around the room. For the first time in years, they allowed themselves to believe that things might actually get better. The program meant structured learning, professional development, and a pathway out of their current financial struggles. Emma would attend evening classes, continue working, and receive additional training. Mr. Thompson became more than just a manager. He became a mentor, seeing potential in Emma that she had never recognized in herself. He understood that talent wasn't about where you started, but how hard you were willing to work. Emma's colleagues at the hotel were surprised. The quiet cleaning staff member was now on a path to management. Some were supportive, others jealous. But Emma didn't care. She was focused on her goal. Her first training session was overwhelming. Professional language, business strategies, management principles, everything was new. But Emma was a quick learner. Years of managing her family's survival had prepared her for challenges. As she sat in the classroom, surrounded by younger students from different backgrounds, Emma realized something important. Her struggle wasn't a limitation, it was her greatest strength. The opportunity was more than a job. It was a chance to rewrite her family's story. Part 3. The learning curve. Manchester's evening sky was dark when Emma arrived home, her management training folder clutched tightly against her chest. The past few months had been a blur of working, studying, and balancing family responsibilities. Her study corner was a small wooden desk near the window, wedged between her grandmother's armchair and a worn bookshelf. Every night she would spread her notes, textbooks, and laptop, trying to absorb complex business concepts while keeping an ear out for her grandmother. Jack would sometimes bring her tea, watching his sister's determination with a mixture of admiration and concern. "You're working too hard," he would say. But Emma knew hard work was their only escape route. The management training program was nothing like she expected. Numbers, strategies, financial planning, topics she had never imagined understanding were now becoming her daily language. Her colleagues at the hotel looked at her differently. Some whispered, some respected her journey. Claire Martin, a senior manager in her 40s, became an unexpected mentor. During lunch breaks, she would sit with Emma, explaining complicated business concepts in simple terms. "You're not just learning a job," Claire would say. "You're learning to transform your life." Emma's typical day started at 5 a.m. She would prepare breakfast for her grandmother, pack Jack's lunch, clean the house, and then rush to her hotel job. Afternoons were for classes, evenings for studying, and late nights for completing assignments. Her hands, once rough from cleaning chemicals, now moved confidently across spreadsheets and business reports. She was learning to see the world differently, not as a series of obstacles but as opportunities waiting to be understood. Financial management was her biggest challenge. Years of stretching every penny had taught her survival skills, but professional financial planning was another world. She would spend hours practicing budgeting techniques, her grandmother's old reading glasses perched on her nose. Some nights exhaustion would overwhelm her. She would fall asleep at her desk, surrounded by papers and half-completed assignments. But each morning she would wake up, determined to continue her journey. The hotel management noticed her transformation. Mr. Thompson would occasionally call her into his office, not to assign cleaning tasks, but to discuss her progress and potential. "You're becoming more than an employee," he would tell her. "You're becoming a leader." Her family became her support system. Margaret, despite her illness, would listen to Emma's business theories, offering wisdom from her years of life experience. Jack would quiz her before exams, turning study sessions into bonding moments. Financial pressures remained constant. Medical bills, household expenses, Jack's school needs, everything required careful planning. But now, Emma was learning professional strategies to manage these challenges. Claire introduced her to networking opportunities. Emma, who once felt invisible in the corporate world, was now learning to speak confidently, share her ideas, and challenge traditional thinking. Her working-class background, once a perceived weakness, was becoming her unique strength. The management training wasn't just about business skills, it was about personal transformation. Emma was learning to see herself differently, not as a struggling young woman, but as a potential leader with valuable perspectives. Her pub evening shifts became laboratories for practicing communication skills. She observed how people interacted, how managers handled difficult situations, how leadership looked in real-world scenarios. Some nights, the pressure felt unbearable. Balancing work, study, family care, and personal growth seemed impossible. But Emma remembered her parents' last words: "Never give up. Your potential is bigger than your circumstances." Her fellow trainees came from different backgrounds: university graduates, corporate transfers, young professionals. Initially, they saw her as an outsider. But gradually, they recognized her determination, her unique problem-solving skills. Emma's assignments began to reflect her growing confidence. Business plans, financial projections, leadership strategies, topics that once seemed alien were now becoming her language. Mr. Thompson watched her progress with pride. "You're not just learning," he would tell her. "You're proving that talent has no specific address or background." As the first year of training concluded, Emma realized something profound. Her journey was never just about getting a better job. It was about proving to herself and her family that their circumstances did not define their potential. The learning curve was steep, challenging, sometimes overwhelming. But Emma was learning the most important lesson: with determination, every obstacle becomes a stepping stone to success. Part 4. Family's Strength. The hospital corridor felt like an endless white tunnel of uncertainty. Emma stood frozen, her management training folder slipping from her trembling hands. Her grandmother, Margaret, had been rushed to emergency with a sudden and severe health complication. Jack arrived moments later, his school uniform wrinkled and his face pale with worry. "What's happening?" he whispered, holding Emma's hand tightly. The doctors had been vague, mentioning complex medical treatments and potential long-term care requirements. Medical bills would be astronomical. Emma's mind raced through their limited finances. Her management training scholarship money, carefully saved for their future, would now be needed for Margaret's treatment. Everything they had worked for seemed to hang by a thread. The family's strength had always been their unity. Even in this moment of crisis, they remained connected. Jack contacted their closest neighbors, family friends who had known them for years. Emma called her work colleagues, hoping for any possible support. Surprisingly, help came from unexpected places. Mr. Thompson from the hotel heard about Margaret's condition. He approached Emma during her shift, his face showing genuine concern. "We're going to help you," he said firmly. The hotel staff organized a fundraiser. Claire, her mentor, spread the word through professional networks. Colleagues who barely knew Emma contributed. Local pub regulars where she had worked for years joined the effort. A community was rallying around their family. Jack's school got involved too. His teachers and classmates organized a charity event. Bake sales, sponsored walks, and community donations started pouring in. The small Manchester community showed its true colors during their moment of need. Emma's management training skills suddenly became crucial. She created detailed spreadsheets tracking medical expenses, potential treatment options, and financial strategies. Her ability to remain calm and organized impressed even the hospital staff. Margaret's condition was serious, but not hopeless. She required specialized treatment and ongoing medical care. The doctors explained complex medical procedures, and Emma listened carefully, taking notes, asking questions. Her training had taught her to approach challenges systematically. Their tiny cottage became a war room of sorts. Medical papers covered the kitchen table. Jack would help organize documents. Margaret would offer occasional words of wisdom, and Emma would strategize their next steps. The community support was overwhelming. Neighbors brought home-cooked meals. Local businesses donated. Even strangers who had heard their story contributed. Emma realized that their strength wasn't just about money, but about human connection. Her work at the hotel became more meaningful. Mr. Thompson offered her flexible hours to manage her grandmother's medical appointments. Claire helped her navigate complex workplace support systems. Her professional network became her personal support system. Jack stepped up too. He reduced his extracurricular activities to help at home. He learned to cook simple meals, manage household chores, and support his sister and grandmother. His maturity surprised everyone. Financial challenges remained significant. Emma calculated they would need additional funds beyond the community support. She began exploring part-time consulting work, using her management training skills to generate extra income. The hospital became their second home. Emma would arrive after work. Jack would come straight from school. Margaret's room was filled with love, hope, and determination. Medical staff were impressed by their family's unity. Weeks turned into months. Margaret's treatment was slow but showing positive results. Each small improvement felt like a massive victory. Their family's resilience was tested but not broken. Emma's management training taught her more than business skills. It taught her about leadership, about managing crisis, about finding strength in vulnerability. Her ability to remain calm and strategic impressed everyone around her. The community's support transformed their perspective. What could have been a devastating moment became a testament to human kindness. Strangers became friends, colleagues, became family. As Margaret slowly recovered, the family realized their biggest strength was not money or resources. It was their love, their unity, their unwavering belief in each other. Jack would often look at his sister with admiration. Emma had transformed from a young woman struggling to survive to a leader who could navigate any challenge. Their grandmother's illness had revealed their true potential. Their story spread through Manchester. A tale of a family that refused to be defeated, that found strength in community, that turned potential tragedy into a story of hope and resilience. The medical journey was far from over, but for the first time, they felt they could face anything together. Part 5. New Horizons. 2 years had passed since Margaret's critical health scare. The small Manchester cottage now looked different, brighter, filled with hope and possibility. Emma stood in the kitchen, her management certificate proudly displayed on the wall, a symbol of their family's incredible journey. At 25, Emma had become the youngest hotel branch manager in the region. Her path hadn't been easy, but her determination had transformed everything. Mr. Thompson watched her with pride during her official promotion ceremony, remembering the cleaning staff member who had become a remarkable leader. Jack was now preparing for university, a dream that seemed impossible just a few years ago. He had earned a scholarship, inspired by his sister's resilience. The once struggling teenager was now a confident young man with clear academic goals. Margaret had recovered significantly, her health was stable, and she had become the family's storyteller, sharing their journey with neighbors and friends. Her eyes would sparkle when she talked about Emma's transformation, her voice filled with pride and love. The local community continued to support them. Claire, Emma's mentor, had become more than a colleague. She was now a close family friend. She had helped Emma navigate professional challenges, offering guidance and support throughout her journey. Emma's management style was unique. She had learned that leadership wasn't about authority, but about understanding people. Her experiences of struggle made her compassionate. Her ability to solve problems made her respected. The hotel where she once cleaned rooms now saw her as a strategic leader. She implemented programs to support employees from challenging backgrounds, creating opportunities for people who reminded her of her younger self. Financial stability had transformed their lives. The small cottage, once a symbol of struggle, was now a home of hope. They could afford better health care, Jack's education, and occasional small luxuries they had never imagined possible. Her colleagues respected her not just for her professional skills, but for her incredible story. Emma represented hope, proof that background didn't determine destiny. She spoke at local schools, sharing her journey, inspiring other young people facing similar challenges. Jack's academic performance was exceptional. He was studying business management, inspired by his sister's journey. Their conversations now included discussions about strategies, opportunities, and future plans. Margaret's health allowed her to enjoy her golden years fully. She would sit in her favorite armchair, watching her grandchildren's success, feeling grateful for their unity and strength. Her medical treatments were now manageable, thanks to their improved financial situation. Emma's involvement in community support programs expanded. She started mentoring young workers, sharing her experiences, helping them see beyond their current circumstances. Her story became a beacon of hope in Manchester. The family's Sunday dinners became legendary among their friends. Jack would cook, Margaret would share stories, and Emma would discuss her latest work challenges. Their tiny cottage was now a place of celebration, of love, of possibility. Her relationship with Mr. Thompson had evolved. He was no longer just her manager, but a trusted mentor and friend. He often spoke about Emma as an example of untapped potential in the workforce. Emma's management training had taught her more than business skills. It had taught her about resilience, about turning challenges into opportunities. She understood that success wasn't about where you started, but how hard you were willing to work. The local newspaper did a feature on her journey. From cleaning staff to branch manager, the headline read. Emma was both proud and slightly embarrassed by the attention. Her colleagues saw her as a role model. Young employees would seek her advice, inspired by her journey from struggle to success. She always emphasized the importance of hard work, education, and family support. Jack was preparing to follow in her footsteps, but with his own unique path. Their family's journey had taught them that education and determination could change everything. Margaret would often say, "We didn't just survive, we learned to thrive." Her words became the family's motto, a reminder of their incredible journey. As evening fell over their Manchester cottage, Emma looked around. The walls held memories of struggle, but now they also held dreams of future possibilities. Their story was more than a tale of overcoming challenges. It was a testament to the power of family, hope, and unwavering determination. The small cottage, that once felt like a prison, now felt like a palace of possibilities. Their journey had just begun,